I forgot to turn on my studio lights. Hang on.
Oh no. Oh no, Tom, we've started. And Tom's
I know.
forgotten to turn on his studio lights.
It's on now. It's on now.
This
It's
is
on
the
now.
this is the worst start ever. Hello
It's on now.
everybody. 안녕하세요 여러분. Welcome to this live class with me, George, and up there in the top right hand corner, Tom. Hello, say hello, Tom.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, using your voice.
Hi. And using my voice. Wow. You look so professional, George. You've got the green screen. It looks really good. I need to step up my game.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Don't like
Where's
green screen thing.
where's your green screen, Tom?
I actually was thinking about ordering one, and then I realized I don't really need one. Uh, maybe in the future, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what the future will hold?
Yeah. Okay, so Tom, what are we doing today? So actually, I'm not in charge of this class today. Tom is leading this class. He is the leader. So Tom, what are we doing today?
I guess what we're doing is I pitched this idea to George, but like actually in a lot of ways, George, I don't really like. Well, I sort of do, but like we've never really talked about your journey about going to Korea, if that makes sense,
all
right?
right, yeah.
And I'm actually like, well, no, sorry, you first. You first.
I thought you were about to say like my personal journey.
Your personal journey, getting the flight from Heathrow to no.
Okay,
No, I think it's been interesting to get involved with the channel a bit more. So I think it'd be good to know a bit more about like Korea, and also sort of ask those questions out to everyone who's watching as well.
Okay. So in this lesson, Tom will ask questions about Korea. He'll ask me questions. He'll ask you questions. Tom wants to know more about Korea, so you need to help him understand the true Korea. Okay, so Tom,
Wow, the true Korea.
fire away.
So I guess initially like I think when I met you at college, definitely there wasn't really a sense of like I want to go and teach abroad. I don't think you ever said that line, right?
No.
Like it. So like obviously like when you finished uni and everything, like what sort of like inspired that decision and why Korea, I guess as well.
Okay, so yeah, when I went to college with Tom, and I think we've talked about this before, college is not college, as in the American college. It's college as in the British college,
The British college, yeah.
which is like high school.
But even then, some people here call it sixth form. So,
Yeah. UK. Oops. Yeah, yeah. We either call it college or sixth form.
Yeah.
So, form, which is pretty much high school. Or 고등학교. Right. So. Yeah. So when we went to college, I never even thought about Korea as a country. Actually, I don't know if you can see this on my screen. Oh, I've just typed something, but I don't think it's showing.
You've got a black screen, I think.
Yeah, what's going on here? Hold on. Oh no. Just one moment.
Probably just need to add it as a source.
Oh, I know what's going on. Oh god, this looks really unprofessional.
That's fine. Just do a nice fade in. You'll be good to go. Be like, here it is.
Oh no, hold on. No. Copy. Paste. Oh my god.
Let's just add that George sent me a message. Instead of preparing, he was in the toilet. So
Tom, let's not share this.
so you know.
You know what? Let's abandon OneNote, and I think I can use Active Inspire instead. Oh god.
Were you using OneNote before?
I usually use it because I can type in Korean on it.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if this shows up. Okay, this is showing up now. Okay, so apologies for my unprofessional behaviour.
It really went down in the toilet on that one.
Tom, are you?
We can use that expression though. Went down the toilet.
No, we're not using that. Right.
What? That's English.
From now on, we're being really professional. So anyway,
that's the first for everything, I guess.
So as I said, when we went to college together, I never talked about Korea. In fact, I never thought about Korea or anything like that.
Or I think even Asian cultures in general.
Yeah, I didn't ever think about anything like that. Oh god, sorry. Oh god, you're obstructing the text, Tom. Hold on. There you go. Oh god, this is so unprofessional. Right, let's.
Someone said, George, you ballsed it up again, which is true.
It is true.
Good expression. Good expression.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason, I'm just gonna talk about this now. Yeah. So the reason why I went to Korea, the reason why I decided to go to Korea was when I went to university. There were lots of Korean restaurants nearby. So one day I was walking down the street and I happened to walk past a Korean restaurant, and an old Korean lady came outside and said, "Have you tried Korean food before?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And she said, "Come inside. I'll show you what Korean food is all about." So I went inside and I tried bulgogi, and I thought it was amazing. And from then on, I went to lots and lots of Korean restaurants around my university. There were about 3 or 4 in Bournemouth. I went to Bournemouth University, and there were like 3 or 4 Korean restaurants for some reason, because it's not a massive city.
Yeah, I don't know how multicultural Bournemouth was. Was it quite multicultural?
A little bit, yeah, but not massively. I mean, it's more multicultural than Chichester, but that's not hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were to open up 2 Chinese places, that would be a marked improvement.
Yeah.
That being said, Barnum, which is where your parents are from, there is one.
Tom, we're going into dangerous territory here, where you're revealing my location. So let's just say I'm from Chichester, not the exact village.
I mean, a village in Chichester.
Okay, a village. You've already said it now, but yeah, a village near Chichester.
Okay, in one station in near Chichester, there's a Chinese restaurant outside of the station. You go on Google Maps, it might not be hard to find.
Well saved.
Yeah. Though I've heard in Korea, Google Maps isn't a thing. It's really hard to use Google Maps, right?
Yeah, no one really uses it here. Everyone uses Kakao Maps. Or
Naver Maps.
Naver Maps as well. Well, when I was last here, Naver Maps was, I thought, the most popular one, but Kakao Maps has now overtaken it as the best map application available.
I think it's quite interesting because you'll go anywhere else in the world. And Google Maps, for the most part, is easily the thing that you can use, right?
Yeah.
I've traveled to Vietnam and Japan quite recently, and you just use Google Maps there and it's fine. But yeah, I don't actually know the reasoning behind that. Someone said something. It's something about like North Korea or something crazy like
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah,
heard that
yeah,
as well. That maybe
yeah,
North Korea can hack into Google Maps
yeah,
more easily. I don't know if that's the real reason. But anyway,
yeah.
Jayling says Maru is the best one in Bournemouth, and I agree. Maru Korean restaurant is awesome. It's really nice. That's not the first one I went to. There was one which was just called Korean barbecue, I think. Yeah, it was good.
So you did it. So you didn't consider any other place, like any other
Ah, so
places to teach.
at the time I was considering either Japan or Korea, and I decided to go to Korea in the end because number one, I heard that it was really expensive to live and work in Japan, and yeah, everything was much more affordable in Korea. And what else? Oh yeah, and my girlfriend at the time recommended Korea because she was really into K-pop and K-dramas and stuff. So she was like, just go to Korea. It's better than Japan. So I was like, okay, I'll go to Korea.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
it was, yeah, it was a good choice, I think, because I've lived in Japan as well for like 3 months at a time, and it is really expensive. It's so much easier to live in Seoul than Tokyo, in my opinion. Yeah. Esse non videre, I don't know what that means. Kakao Maps already took inroads into the pie that Naver app had poached from Google Map. Now Kakao Map tops it all. So seems like Kakao Map has the monopoly in Korea. Oh, I just had a message on Steam from some of my friends saying, "Hey, you want to play Age of Empires?" So that was the reason for that sound you might hear in the stream.
I mean, yeah, they might.
Yeah,
Age of Empires, great game.
it is a great game.
So you basically went after you graduated, right?
Yeah, so immediately, so I graduated in July and then I went to Korea in February, the following February, and I was really young. So when I first went to Korea, I was 22 and I was teaching in a primary school.
Were you really scared at the time? Because
Yeah.
I think this was like the first time you were like teaching, right?
Yeah, I was shitting myself. Okay, this is a great expression.
Yeah, it's used a lot. Used a lot.
But yeah, I was just writing. Oops. Primary school again is British English for 초등학교. So yeah, I was shitting myself. What do you think this means, people watching? And I apologise for the language. It's not a polite expression at all. I was shitting myself. I believe they should not give away their contacts on their stream rather. Yeah. It's true. So, because Lynchable said Tom's going to tell us his address someday.
I mean,
Yeah,
like, wasn't it like two weeks ago? You were like, "Yeah, Tom's in London." I was like, "I guess that's fine." Like, that's
Yeah,
not.
but then you just suddenly said that where my parents live, and it's a small village.
It's really not far from the Chinese restaurant as well.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it's fine. We have a small viewership, so it's all right. Oh yeah, just in case there's some guys trying to dox their personal info. Yeah, so some people might trying to get our personal information and hack
Yeah.
our accounts, whatever.
Unlikely, but okay.
You don't have to read your friend's message on live. Yeah, sorry.
Yo, do you want to play Age of Empires?
Okay, so I was shitting myself. Yeah. What do you think this means, people? It means I was really scared. Yeah. But obviously a swear word.
And you got in through like the Epic program, right?
Yeah. So, oh my god, what is going on with my computer? One sec. This is why I don't use this application. Oh my god, it's disappeared. Sorry, yeah, I got in through Gepic. Or Epic. No, it's Epic, sorry.
Is that the Korean government's initiative?
Yeah, so it's a way for foreigners to teach English at public schools, well, comprehensive schools in Korea.
Bit like JET for Japan.
Yeah, yeah. So before I taught through Epic in Korea, I'd never taught kids before. So I was trained to teach adults. So it was a really daunting experience. Daunting means kind of scary, nerve-wracking.
Yeah, like an upcoming event that you're scared about, really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that you feel anxious about. Yeah.
So you could be like, "Oh, I'm going on a date tonight." That's quite daunting.
Yeah.
So, George, I imagine you're not the type to be like, "Oh yeah,"
What?
right? I mean, you wouldn't say that sentence. I have a date tonight. It's very daunting. You'd be like, "Oh yeah." That's your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a player, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Of course. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm filled with confidence all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. As are you, Tom. As we know from when you played, what's it called? That game that we played.
Which one?
What was the game that we played and we streamed?
PUBG?
PUBG, yeah. When you played PUBG and you wore those really fashionable clothes.
Oh, true. Yes.
Those are probably the clothes that you would choose to wear on a date, I assume.
Yeah. It's important to be fashionable on the battlefield, as you mentioned.
Yes, this is true. Anyway, so we're getting a bit off topic. So it was a daunting experience, and I was shitting myself, but I had a very good time in Korea, in Gyeongju. Gyeongju was a lovely city to live in.
So where is that in relation to Seoul?
So Gyeongju is in the southeast.
Okay.
And
is it like the countryside or is it a city?
I mean, okay, so in Korea it's referred to as the countryside, but in the UK it's just a city. In my opinion, it's like.
Is it like the Chichester of Korea?
Okay,
like not too big.
So Chichester is a population of 20,000 people, right? Whereas Gyeongju has a population of I think 200,000.
Oh, okay. So it is a city.
Yeah. So even though it's referred to as the countryside, it really is just a city. It's because Korean cities are generally quite big anyway. So yeah, that's why.
And how far is that from Seoul?
If you get the KTX is like the bullet train.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew already?
Well, I mean, I know what a bullet train is.
I know, but I mean, like.
I don't know. I don't know what KTX is.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I have no idea what KTX is.
So the KTX is the Korean bullet train, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get the KTX, it takes about 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and if you just get the old train or coach,
National Express.
Oh no! Hold on. Would it take 4 hours? No. It'll take 4 hours if you get the coach or train, but
okay.
it'll take 2 hours if you get the KTX.
So
the bullet train.
not far at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So undaunted would mean not scary or not intimidated. Yeah, so not intimidated, I think, is a better translation. And then daunting is it's quite intimidating. Yeah.
So that's a good point. So obviously, when you decided that you were going to go to Korea, I think that's an amazing opportunity. Like I think a lot of people sort of frown on it in the UK when you teach abroad. I guess some people do. I think. But I've always thought, oh, it's an amazing opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I had gone traveling more when I finished uni, but I just went in straight in for a job. Well, a career in the UK. Not that teaching abroad is not a job. That's definitely a job. But I guess when you were like flying over, when was the first time you realized like, okay, like I'm actually doing this for a year? When did the realization like
I
sort
think
of come into effect?
I think when I exited the airport and I got the coach to Jeonju, that was when I was like, oh shit, like I'm in Korea. This is like a completely foreign land. And I think also when I moved into my place in Gyeongju, I was like, oh wow, so I'm going to be working here for a year. Interesting. This is going to be fun.
And and I guess like how long did it take for you to obviously it was really daunting in the beginning, right? But like how long did it take for you to like settle in like eventually?
I think
Because I imagine you went in like how much Korean did you know before even going?
when I first went to Korea, I knew 안녕하세요 and I knew 감사합니다, and that was it. So yeah, which was hello and thank you. And then, but I mean, I think it's really easy for English teachers to live and work in Korea. It's easier than living and working as an English teacher in other countries because particularly the schools that you work at, they really help you. Like they almost treat you like a child. So it's like,
really?
Yeah, in that you don't have to like be responsible for anything. It's like okay, we'll pay your rent, we'll pay for your flight over here, and if you want to set up a bank account, then someone will go there with you and set it up for you, and basically so everything that I had to do was taken care of for me rather. So everything was taken care of.
Even like moving all your stuff across. They sorted that out for you, right?
No. So I had to bring my stuff over here. But,
okay.
I mean, it's different for my job now.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I worked for a primary school, they didn't pay for me to bring my stuff over. So yeah, everything was taken care of. So 이거는 무슨 뜻이냐면 다른 사람이 모든 거 다 해줬어? 다 챙겨줬어? Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna just have to do it with a single shit. So 다른 사람이 wait. 다른 사람이 모든 거 다 챙겨줬어. 다른 사람들이, like everyone else, just did everything for me. Everything was taken care of. So I didn't live in Jeonju, but if you come to teach in Korea as a primary school, middle school, or high school teacher, then you go to Jeonju first for the orientation.
What, for everyone in Epic, like literally?
Not everyone.
Like,
It depends if you're where you're working. So because
right. It's like hubs, basically.
yeah. Oh, so you were at the
Okay.
receiving end of taking care. Yeah. So everyone took care of. I mean, everything was taken care for me. Yeah, everything was taken care of for me. So yeah, that means like everybody did everything for me. Like I was a child. It was, but it's
Were you just standing around in confusion for most of it? Where you're like, I have no idea what's happening, but
I'm curious to think what would have happened if nothing was taken care of. Like if I just went to Korea and they expected me to open my own bank account and they expected me to like find my own place and pay rent and stuff. Like I wouldn't have survived. I mean, it would have been an immense amount of pressure compared to how it is now. And I think that's probably why a lot of foreigners that live in Korea don't learn Korean, because it's so easy just to, I don't know, not get involved, not learn Korean, just go to your school, have everyone at your school take care of everything for you.
and then
So, yeah.
just go off and speak to other English speakers, right? So,
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
then just go off and speak to Koreans who speak English or other foreigners. And there's a good expression for this: living in a foreigner bubble. So this is often used when people talk about foreigners living in Korea. They live in like a little foreigner bubble. Or just living in a bubble. So yeah, this means like you don't meet local people, only foreigners, other foreigners living in Korea. Yeah. So yeah, it's really easy to live in a bubble in Korea.
And what, even in the place that you were teaching at? Because I mean, you weren't living in like the capital, right? So
No, but
I assume
I would
there's less English speakers, right?
yeah, so I would say that in the smaller cities, the foreigner bubble is larger because, particularly if you can't speak Korean, then the opportunity to meet Koreans is kind of lowered because there aren't many English speakers. So you just try and find other foreigners to be friends with and hang out with. So yeah, I felt like when I lived in Gyeongju, I didn't have a lot of Korean friends. I just mainly hung out with foreigners.
But I guess wouldn't you attribute that to just being like, oh, this is my first year in Korea. Like, this is really scary. This is a brand new
Yeah.
environment. So as a result, you kind of go to the thing that's like more comfortable for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. And also, a lot of foreigners who come to Korea think they're just going to live here for a year. So they think, sod it, I'm not going to learn Korean because if I learn Korean, I'm never going to use it again. So I think that's why, a lot of foreigners. So this all comes back to why a lot of foreigners in Korea don't learn Korean. Whereas when I lived in Japan, there were a lot of foreigners that had learned Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've asked like a much larger number of foreigners living in Japan could speak Japanese and speak it really well as well. Like they sounded fluent. Well, they sounded fluent to me mainly because I can't speak Japanese. So yeah.
So I guess what inspired you? I mean, you learned Did you learn Korean in your first year when you were?
No. So the first year,
Okay.
I was solidly in the foreigner bubble. I only spoke English to anyone that I met, and it was only, I think, when I decided to stay in Korea for another year, I thought, if I live here for 2 years and I'm still at this really, really low level of Korean. It's going to be kind of embarrassing.
It's real bad.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah.
I've been in Korea for 2 years and I can say thank you and hello. So that would be, I just thought that would be really embarrassing. So, yeah.
But your
decided
Korean,
to-
I mean, I can't speak Korean, but your Korean sounds really good.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I can get by. I can get
Yeah.
by. This is another expression which might be useful. I can get by.
Do you get complimented a lot?
Not so much in Seoul. Sometimes in Seoul,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but particularly when I go to the smaller cities, even if I just say hello, they're like,
yeah.
"우와, 한국말 너무 잘하신다."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, or I just say, for example, when they ask me if I want the receipt, I usually say I'm okay in Korean. So I'm like, 괜찮아요. And they're like, 와, 이 외국인 한국말 너무 잘하신다. 진짜 잘하시네요. 와, 한국말 너무 잘하시네요. 막 이렇게 하니까 되게 웃긴 것 같아요. 근데 좀 웃긴 건데, 만약에 외국인이 뭐 한국인이 막 일본 사람은 영국에 가서 영어 엄청 잘해도 칭찬 별로 안 받을 것 같아요. So, for example, if a Korean or a Japanese person went to England and they spoke English really well, they wouldn't get a compliment, would they? I'm pretty sure.
Depends on the situation, I guess.
Very unlikely.
I think as a like you're walking around and you just spoke English, everyone would be like whatever. But I think, let's say hypothetically, you were meeting someone like for the first time or something, like in a one-to-one situation, they might be like, "Oh, your English is very good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I can get by, like means I can handle day-to-day things in another language. I can get by. Okay, I can say I can get by in Korean, or I can get by in English. I can handle day-to-day situations in Korean.
And how long did that all take for you, I guess?
I don't know. I guess okay. So it's okay. I just wanted to say to people watching. So for people who live in England, it's really unusual to speak a second language if you're English.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I think I think I might have been the only like bilingual person
Yeah.
in my secondary school and college. I'm fairly sure. Maybe college not, but
Yeah.
I didn't meet anyone that had like who was bilingual. And I think it's. I mean, for me, I found it really hard growing up being bilingual because I'd always get mixed up. It's not too much of a problem now,
Yeah.
but especially growing up, it was really hard, and I never could manage it. And
Right.
the teachers never knew how to deal, like how to deal with that, basically.
I remember
Yeah.
back in college, I was amazed that you could speak another language. I was like, "What? You speak Vietnamese? That's so cool!" So yeah, things like that. It's just it's kind of really impressive in the UK if you speak like two
Anywhere else, they're
languages.
like, you know.
Yeah, unless you're a foreigner. And so
yeah.
if you're in
Yeah.
English and you speak two languages, you're like, wow, that's impressive. Even if you don't speak that language that well, it's like even if you can like get by with like a few expressions, then it's pretty amazing. So I studied French in school. What language did you study?
I think it was French as well. Like,
How much French can you speak, Tom?
oh god, no. I never had to use it in a personal setting, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like yeah. Je ne parle, yeah, Tom, yeah, in this like.
Je m'appelle Georges. Yeah, I feel like I can pretend to speak languages. So like, yeah. Tom speaks Vietnamese really well. So it's
Working
pretty
on
cool.
it. Working on it, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. It's okay.
Now that turns into a humble bragging. All right, let's just read some of the comments. How long have you lived in Japan, George? I lived in Japan for like a total of 6 months. So I first went to Japan in 2015. I lived there for 3 months, and then last year, no, was it 2 years ago? 2018, I lived there for another 3 months. So
Did you live in Tokyo?
yeah. So it wasn't really living, I guess. It was just more of just working there for 3 months and then leaving. So
And was it quite easy to just get by in English?
not as easy as it is in Korea.
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason why foreigners in Japan study Japanese really hard, and why a lot of them can speak Japanese quite well, because the level of English in Japan is a lot lower, in my opinion. And I think the difference is that in Korea, even if some Koreans don't speak English that well, they kind of try, and I don't think they're as afraid to speak English as Japanese people are. So I think that's why it's probably easier for foreigners to live in Korea. And also there are more English signs around in Korea. Yeah. So hold on, let me have a look now. So I can barely find a way around getting stuck in a non-foreigner bubble. Maybe I'm shy. My Korean isn't that good.
It sounds good, and everyone on the chat saying it's good. So
I think they're just being kind. It's okay. It's a bit awkward, obviously. Have you taught yourself Korean, or got a private tutor? Well, no, I have studied Korean for a long time. So, as I said, the first year I lived in Korea, I didn't study, but from, what was it, 2014, must be? So 2014, I really studied hard. So
did you go to class, or did you get?
So yeah, I went once a week to a Korean class, and then I studied a lot on my own as well. So like, this comes back to what I was saying about earlier, that English people usually can't speak 2 languages. Whereas, so when I went to Jeju Island, it must have been like 3 or 4 months after I studied, that I started studying properly, that I could actually like have little conversations in Korean. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like I can like understand a little bit of what they're saying, and they understand a little bit of what I'm saying. And
it is really satisfying. It's really satisfying when you speak to someone in a different language. Yeah.
So it was a really good feeling. It was like, wow, like they understand me when I asked them, how long have you been in Jeju for, and I can reply and things like that. So it wasn't an amazing conversation, but it was a start. So from then on, I really enjoyed learning new Korean expressions and things like that. Yeah.
So did that whole process, like to have that conversation, how long did that take?
I'd say to be able to say little expressions like that, probably like, I don't know, for 6 months maybe, but like I was still an elementary level, but I could understand tiny bits, and they could understand little bits of what I was saying as well. Yeah.
And I guess it's a lot easier because you lived in Korea as well. Well, you were living in Korea. Well, you still live in Korea, but living in Korea helps.
So at that time, as I said, I was working at a primary school. So during lunch, I would always have lunch with Korean teachers, and I was the only foreigner there. So yeah, there was lots of opportunities for me to practice. Okay, so any other questions?
I did have a few more, but then we got caught up on the language. Oh, yeah, that's kind of the reason. I think when this whole situation, the coronavirus finishes,
Yeah.
I think partially the reason why I want to go back to Vietnam for a few months is just my language skills are just a bit. They're definitely really wobbly. But I'm out there for like 2 or 3 months. I'm sure I'm just going to learn a lot. So it's that learning by immersion, right? It's that sort of theory.
So Tom used a pretty cool expression here. My language skills are a bit wobbly.
Yeah, it's very a British saying.
So wobbly is like you don't have balance. So you're unbalanced and you're kind of shaking like this. 그래서 밸런스를 맞추려고 하면서 자꾸 흔들면 wobbly라고 하는 거예요. So like I'm kind of wobbling. So at the moment I'm learning how to longboard and I'm always wobbling on the board like this when I go along to wobble. So if you say my language skills are a bit wobbly, it means that they're not very strong. They're kind of, it's not very secure. Yeah. 좀 뭐라고 해야 되지? 내 제 언어 실력은 좀 서투르다? 서툴어요? I think I don't know if that makes sense. 서툴어요? 서투른 언어 능력 있어? Anyway, sorry, Tom.
No, that's fine.
Is that right? I don't know if this is the right word. Yeah, to be unstable. 불안정.
So I actually don't know if this is the right platform to mention this. So in the UK, it's not everyone, definitely, but I would say there's a percentage of the population that sort of frown on people who don't speak English, that come from, I'm trying to phrase this, like that sort of don't frown on people who don't speak English when they come over.
Yeah.
Like what is like the Koreans' perspective on like foreigners coming over who don't really try to learn how to speak Korean?
Oh, okay, this is a good question. So what do you think, people who are watching, if you meet someone in Korea who doesn't try to speak Korean, they just speak English, what do you think about that person?
And they've been there they're not a tourist, like they've been there for a while.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting, yeah.
Because I work with a few people who are a bit like this. So they have been in Korea for like 5, 6, 7 years.
Oh my god!
And they can't speak any Korean. Well, they know like a few words. Yeah. We rarely see native English speakers speak Korean. As you said, they usually don't study Korean, as it's so easy to get by living here without knowing Korean. Right. Yeah. Can I say my language skills are clumsy? Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
You can say.
Makes sense. Yeah. My
I
language
can say
skills
I can say my Vietnamese is clumsy, and that would be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Korean is a bit clumsy. God, this bloody fly. Yeah, I killed it.
Wow. Live murder on a stream. You're gonna get shut down again.
Oh yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. So 그래서 만약에 한국에서 되게 오랫동안 살던 외국인 만났는데 그 외국인이 만약에 한국말 한마디도 못하고 뭐 한마디도 못하는 거 아니고 막 되게 막 그냥 되게 기본적인 거 할 수 있으면 어떻게 생각하세요? 이거는 톰의 질문이었어요. So what do you think if you meet a foreigner who doesn't speak Korean, who's lived in Korea for a long time?
I guess I can ask another question whilst we're waiting, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, there's someone who's just replied. So I've seen a native English teacher at public schools who's lived in Korea for 7 years, but he never tries to learn Korean. At first, it was disrespectful, but it's okay unless he has trouble living here. It's just lazy, right? Like I don't know. I mean, I'm just, this is my personal view, right?
In my opinion,
Yeah.
it's okay. If, like, for example, if they go to a restaurant, or if they, if they speak to Koreans for the first time and they try to use Korean, I think it's okay. And their Korean isn't that good. And like, if they speak to their Korean friends who they know speak English really well, and they speak English with them, then I think it's okay. But I cringe sometimes when I see foreigners that have lived here for a long time, and then they just speak English to the waiter or waitress, and they don't know if they speak English. That's cringeworthy. That's pretty cringy. So, cringy is a good expression. Cringy. 어구골리다. It's very cringy. I don't know if I spelled that correctly, actually. Christ. Yes.
English is a pretty hard language.
I can't remember if it's got an E or not.
I fundamentally don't know how you
that's
teach
right.
English because it's just so hard. But
Yeah, it's with an E. God, that was momentarily scary. So, 얼굴. Oh no, 얼굴 골리다. So cringy. You can say cringy or cringeworthy, or cringe. Some people just say cringe. That's so cringe.
I don't think I've heard anyone use that sentence. That's so cringe.
Mate, there are tons of people who use that sentence. Like,
Really?
Yeah. You've never met someone who says that's so cringe.
I'd be like, that's cringy.
Yeah, that's cringy, but there are people who say that's so cringe.
That's so cringy.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
cringy, but also there are.
That's
I
true.
don't personally say cringe. I think maybe younger people say cringe. Like, that's so cringe, mate. But fine, I'll get rid of cringe.
Yeah.
I'll-
No. It's still a word. I just haven't heard it in use in like a long time.
Okay, maybe it's because I haven't been in England for a long time. It's been a long time since I've heard
You're
someone
just gonna
say
turn up at the
cringe.
airport and be like, "Oh, this is so cringy," and then we'll be like, "What are you going on about?"
So cringy. Yeah, so so 한국 사람들은 막 얼굴 고리는 상황에 있을 때 막 손가락으로 하잖아요. 막 이렇게. 근데 영국 사람들은 그런 상황에 있으면 눈으로 하는 거예요. 그래서 cringe 문자 그대로 이렇게 한 거예요. 막 이런 표정. Can you cringe, Tom? 이 표정이.
Yeah,
I'm
something like
cringing.
that.
So
Yeah.
I said earlier, when I see a foreigner in a restaurant in Korea and they speak to the waiter in English straight away without knowing that they speak English, I sort of cringe. So I do this with my face.
That being said, George, when you were teaching me Korean, you're a really good teacher.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
Yeah, like,
Thanks,
really
Tom.
good teacher.
Thanks.
So I should actually try and learn some Korean at some point.
Yeah,
I would
you should.
I think I would actually enjoy that.
Yeah, Korean is a cool language. I like it a lot.
Oh, like, did you find it easy to learn,
No.
or
No.
it's also your first language, right? So
Yeah, first language to learn.
yeah.
So, well, actually, no. When I was at university, I tried to study German on my own, but that failed. So, but yeah, it's the first language that I learned successfully.
Yeah. Did you use like Anki cards and stuff? Like I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anki was very useful.
Yeah.
Does anyone here use Anki? Like flashcards? They're pretty useful for remembering expressions.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll show you how I used Anki cards. I need to start studying Korean again. I haven't really been studying at all since I returned. So
That's fine. I mean, sounds
yeah.
good. Um, I think that's about. Oh, I guess like, what's your favorite thing about like living in Korea as well?
I as I said before, I love karaoke. Karaoke is great here. Unfortunately, because of Corona, I haven't been able to go to the karaoke for a while, but
Yeah.
it's great. There are loads of nice restaurants, and they're affordable as well.
That
Particularly
is
the Korean
quite cheap
restaurants.
to eat out.
Yeah, it's
Do
cheap to
do a
eat
lot of
out.
people eat out solo in Korea? Because I know there's a big culture in that, and like especially in Vietnam and Japan, you can just eat out by yourself, and that's fine because it's cheaper to eat out than it is to cook
Right.
in those two countries, especially. So
Well,
as a result, like eating solo is kind of acceptable, whilst in the UK, you go out to eat with someone else. It's quite unusual to eat out by yourself, if that makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, when I first went to Gyeongju, everyone said that Koreans don't eat out on their own. They always have
Oh,
to go
okay.
with someone else. But I'm not sure. I mean, it depends where you go. So there's there's this chain restaurant called Kimbap Tongu, which is like kimbap. Have you heard of kimbap before?
Yeah.
It's like kimbap heaven.
Yeah.
And I think to go there alone is fine because it's just convenient to eat, and you don't really plan to eat out there, do you? You just pass by and think, oh, I'm hungry, so you eat there. So there are some places like that where it's okay to eat on your own, but generally, like if you have barbecue, Korean barbecue or something like that, then you have to go with your friends or family. I mean, I've been turned away from restaurants like that because I was on my own.
And you were just like, I just want some barbecue, and they were like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they were like, no, you can't
Yeah.
come in. I was like, okay, I'll find somewhere else. So yeah,
Crazy. Korean Mackie D's Kimbap Heaven.
yeah, yes.
And someone said,
oh, I see.
do you-
Yeah, I can see it now. Korean Mackie D's,
Yeah.
Kimbap Heaven. Yeah, Mackie D's.
Yeah.
Oh, the trend has been changing. I've seen a few people have a meal alone at the Shabu Shabu buffet.
Oh, what is Shabu Shabu, by the way?
What is Shabu Shabu?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought it was originally Vietnamese, but I've evidently not. So, what is Shabu Shabu? I mean, there are various varieties. You have like rice paper, and then you put the meat inside the rice paper with vegetables and stuff like that, and then you.
I've just googled it. Shabu Shabu is a popular Japanese-style hot pot where the
Oh.
meat and assorted vegetables are cooked in a pot.
Oh, okay. I was completely wrong. I thought I knew what Shabu Shabu was, but evidently not.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so if someone has lived for a long time in Korea and can barely speak Korean, honestly, it doesn't look very good. In my opinion, people who don't learn the language of the country living seem like a lazy person. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that is true. I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. So in Japan, I didn't really learn a lot of Japanese, and also I lived in Italy for 5 months, 6 months, and I didn't really learn any Italian. I learned more Japanese than I learned Italian.
But you hated your time in Italy, right? You were like, I don't like
But
this.
I really like Italy itself. I loved
Yeah.
the country. The people were lovely, very sociable. In fact, when I was living in Italy, I thought Italians were really similar to Koreans because they're very sociable and they're warm and friendly and I think far more welcoming than British people are. So yeah, I really liked Italy. It was just the job. I didn't like working there. Yeah. Yeah, lazy person. We tend to be more self-conscious. Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah, so self-conscious whilst eating alone. I think that's what it's in reference to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. That was a really good chat. I actually really enjoyed that. I think someone's.
But I think S.A. non Videri speaks English really well as well. So yeah, S.A. non Videri was just like, why do people here speak English so well? I'm really envious. My grammar is all wrong, but I don't think so at all. I think your English is great.
What essay?
Yeah, I thought you were.
I could read it, and I was like, yes, yeah. It seemed good.
Yeah, I mean there was like the first sentence. I thought you were English, like you were using expressions like already took inroads into the pie that is Naver app, and had poached from Google Map, like poached and making inroads.
Inroads is really like it's complex
very
language.
yeah, it's very advanced.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think everyone here speaks English really well.
Yeah.
Isn't Italian similar to Spanish? Yeah, I've heard they are. They're. I mean, I'm not an expert, so I don't know why I'm answering this. But yeah, I heard that Italians can understand Spanish, and Spanish people can understand some Italian as well. So yeah.
I think I have a few more questions, but obviously we're sort of running out of time. So I think maybe we can do like a part 2 or something.
Yeah.
Later down the road. But
Sure.
yeah, that was really
Sounds
interesting.
Good. Sounds good.
It also makes me really excited to visit Korea when I can as well.
Yeah,
I'll definitely try and learn some as well.
That'd
But
be
we
great.
could do a study session on the river, right?
Yeah. I'm
The meetup.
Really.
The meetup, which we are not announcing.
Yeah, I've already announced it a few times.
Yeah.
I'm really up for like doing that. Because we always have the regulars, right? So we always have YouTuber, Julie, Sweet Potato is always here. Well, it's not always here, but sometimes here. And of course, the legendary Brighton SY,
Brighton SY.
who occasionally pops in.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So
yeah, we'll
do
a session.
It would be great to meet our regular students. Yeah. Yeah. So should we finish there? Should we call it a day?
Happy to wrap up. But yeah, I would love to do a part 2, like chat a bit more. But that'd be really good.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for watching. 또 봐주셔서 감사합니다. And see you next time, which will be on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna try and teach some idiomatic expressions. So on Tuesday, 화요일에는 관용어 영어 표현 그르치려고 합니다. 그르쳐드리려고 합니다. I think. Right. So yeah. Anyway, bye bye everyone. Say bye bye.
I was waving again.
That's because I can't see your video because I'm looking at it on YouTube and there's a delay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye. There we go.